Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about The New Guy. So, I have seen this movie before. I remember catching it on TV when I was pretty darn young, and I never remembered what the heck it was called, but like, I had certain scenes ingrained in my brain. Like, I remember the scene where they pull up to the football field, and they're like, they're wearing all like the, what do you call it, like Celtic stuff, and I think it's supposed to be a rip off of like Braveheart. I haven't seen that movie. I know it's blasphemous, but yeah, I remember that scene. I remember the scene where early on DJ Qualls' character Dizzy, he gets like strapped to the chair and they put like plastic breasts on him. I remember that. Like there was like a lot of imagery that I remembered. Even stuff like, just like his look where he's got like the frosted tips and kind of like the cool look later on. Like there was so much imagery from this movie that I remembered. And like yeah, like some of like the Vanilla Ice stuff where he's just like body slamming fools. Like there were a lot of random scenes that I remembered, and I'm like, what? Like this movie would just pop in my head. I'm like, what the heck was that movie? And then yeah, like 5 or so years ago, or maybe even before then, I like rediscovered this movie, and I'm like, oh, it's called The New Guy. Like, oh, that's that movie that I watched on TV back in the day. And then, like I didn't like rewatch it for the longest time, and then I think I rewatched it like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I think that time like I didn't like it. Like I don't think I was like a huge fan. Like I didn't hate it, but I was like, man, I remember this being cooler. So then going into it this time, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And I'm gonna be honest with like the first 10 minutes, I wasn't into it. But then like after maybe like the first 10 or 15 minutes, it was still I had to like warm up to it. But I'm telling you what, like after the first 10 or 15 minutes, I got into this movie and I thought it was really good. So yeah, I'm a fan of The New Guy. It's a good movie. The thing with this movie is like the the comedy is on point. Like there's a lot of amazing, memorable lines. There's a lot of great situations, wacky scenarios. There's a lot of great physical comedy, great cameos. Like there's a lot of comedy that really works. But this movie, I feel like the comedy is more hit or miss than a lot of like a lot of other movies at that time. Actually, a lot of those movies at that time though, they're like, if you look back now, some of the comedy like it's a little like some of it is like a little corny looking back, or like a little bit too gross out or over the top. But for the most part, I think the comedy really works in this. I had a pretty darn good time with it, so I think it's good. So jumping into the plot summary, the movie centers around this high school kid Dizzy, and he's played by DJ Qualls, and he's not popular. He's he gets picked on at school, and he's got like small group of friends, but yeah, for the most part, he's not doing well in terms of popularity, and he thinks, wow, I'm a senior now, everything's gonna change, this is gonna be my year, it's gonna be awesome. And like he quickly realizes that that is not the case. That's like a straight pipe dream. Like it's not happening for him. He gets he basically he gets his dick broken by some old lady in front of the entire school. So I mean, you can't really recover from that. Like if you get your dick broken by an old lady, that's one thing. I mean, that's like you gotta like keep that to yourself. Like you gotta take that to the grave. If you just randomly get your dick broken by some old lady, and then you got like a leftward slanting dick looking like a right angle, that you can't tell anyone that's like a career ender. But I mean, like I said, like you gotta take that to the grave. But I mean, it's one thing for that to happen. That's traumatic. You're never gonna forget that. But then for the whole school to see it, it's over, man. Like career over, you're not gonna recover from that. So he's all distraught. He's thinking exactly what I'm saying. He's like, you know what? At least no one paid attention to me before. Like now, everyone pays attention to me for like the wrong reason. I'm like the laughing stock of the school. So he like one thing leads to another. He gets in trouble and he goes to jail. And he meets this character played by Eddie Griffin, and they kind of like bond over the fact that they both got like tied up and duct taped and humiliated, and they were like had to wear plastic breasts or whatever. And basically Eddie Griffin's character, he's like, hey man, I'm the man here, but I wasn't the man at my other prison. Like, all that happened to me. And Eddie Griffin's character, I should have wrote down his character's name, but he becomes like a mentor for Dizzy, and he's like, okay, like he teaches him how to be cool, how to be tough and all that, and kind of like helps him grow as a person. And then since he transferred prisons, like all that bad stuff happened at his old prison, he's the man at this new prison. Everyone respects him. He gives him the secret, like the cheat codes on how to like get kicked out of school, and then when you're at a new school, how to like be the man. So Dizzy follows that advice. He gets expelled. He goes to this new school, and he's the man there. Everyone loves him. They respect him. But then there's even though things are going well, there's some inner turmoil, some trials and tribulations where he wants to be loved. He wants to be liked. He wants to be popular, like he wants to fit in, but he doesn't want to be loved for being fake. So then there's this whole inner turmoil, and he's like he like dismisses his old friends, and he kind of like loses himself. So he has to traverse all this inner turmoil and kind of find like what really matters to him. So that is the plot summary. The first point that I want to get into is okay, so like it was a good time to watch this because I recently watched Road Trip with DJ Qual, so I was kind of like, I was already thinking of him because I just saw him, and then the new guy popped up on Tubi as well, so I'm like, oh, I just saw this DJ Qual's movie from a similar era, let me check this out. And then this podcast came up on my YouTube, like it's like all the stars aligned. It was like synchronicity. It was meant to be. I mean, it's not that deep, but I just I think my brain is fried. I think I took I was like dibble dabbling too much back in the day, so I just think on some like spiritual miracle lyrical stuff, like, oh, it's meant to be, it's connected. I'm like I think like some like kid in like some like romantic teenage movie. I'm like, dude, we're meant to be together. It was meant to be that I was supposed to see this movie. So like that's what I was thinking. I'm like, all the stars are aligned, man. It was meant to happen. I just watched Road Trip. Then this is coming up on my feed. The new guy's coming up on my Tubi, and then this podcast is coming. It's a sign. It's a sign. I don't really think that crazy, but like kind of like a little bit like low key lightweight. I do think like that a little bit, but anyways, this podcast came up on my feed, and it was called the Lightweights Podcast, and the gentleman who was hosting that was interviewing DJ Qualls, and I watched the entire episode, and it was like a really good episode. DJ Qualls, he had some great stories, like some cool behind the scenes stuff, and he seemed like a pretty like humble dude. He said like for like the longest time he was, even though he had money and he was doing well in Hollywood, he was driving the same beat up car, and he was talking about like how this movie was really big for him. Road Trip, he didn't really make money like that, and I think before Road Trip he had only done like one other movie, but it was like some direct-to-DVD horror film, which I'm into, so I probably got to watch that. But yeah, this was like his big. I mean, is that corny to say, like his big break? But it kind of was, where it's like, Road Trip, he did his thing, but like he was a side character. It's like this, he really got to showcase his talents. He was the star. I think he made like $1 million, and then he kind of negotiated his contract where he had like a little bit of leverage, and he was involved in the casting quite a bit. And yeah, like what's interesting about the cast, you have like a lot of well-known actors, like a lot of actors that I love and a lot of actors that I recognize. But there's all these like random cameos. Like you have Tony Hawk, you have Henry Rollins is in this movie. Gene Simmons is like this priest, and he has a ring on every finger. He's iced up. Like Gene Simmons is straight iced up in this. You got Vanilla Ice. He works at this music store, and he's like this ex-bouncer. And like I said, he's got like anger issues, and he just body slams fools. You got Vanilla Ice. You got David Hasselhoff is randomly in this movie. Tommy Lee is in this movie. So it's like, in addition to a lot, like there's a great actors and actresses in this movie. Like you just have like a bunch of random celebrities that make cameos, and like all their cameos are great. So watching or not watching, well, I did watch it, but also I'm just gonna say listening, because like if you say watching a podcast, it's like you sound like a freak. But we don't say freak here. We don't use language like that here. If you know, you know. But anyways, basically, I was listening to that Lightweights podcast, and DJ Qualls was talking about he was involved in the casting, and like after rewatching the movie, I'm like, that's crazy that, you know, he was kind of like the puppet master behind that. He was kind of behind the scenes helping with that, because like the cast in this movie is nuts. Like I said, great actors and actresses. You got Zooey Deschanel, Eliza Dushku. Who else do you have? You got Jerry O'Connell. Who else? I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Eddie Griffin. Oh yeah, Perry Shen. You got like the list goes on. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Like you got great actors and actresses, but like I don't know how he got all these random cameos. Like you got Vanilla Ice and Henry Rollins and just like all these. There's more like random like pop culture celebrities, like a lot of other musicians and stuff that I just don't recognize. I'm just like listening to people that I recognize, but like it was just interesting listening to that podcast and, you know, hearing that he was involved, because yeah, the cast is crazy in this. But yeah, I had to mention that, and I wanted to like shout out the podcast because you know, when I was in school, that was like a big thing. Like you have to give credit. Like you have to cite your sources. Like that was the whole thing. And any class you started, you had to sign a plagiarism contract. Like the teachers did not play with plagiarism. Like that was their whole thing. Like they would talk about plagiarism to death. You know, like they were like, you know, you have to cite your sources, and you have to do it this way, and you have to have 7 commas and 1 hyphen and 3 colons, and it's got to be MLA 13th edition format to the 3rd power. Like they were all about giving credit, so it's instilled in my brain to always cite my sources. So I'm not just gonna be on here like I try not to just regurgitate, because like a lot of I'm not trying. Actually, I was about to say I'm not trying to talk shit, but I am trying to talk shit. Like whenever people say they're not trying to do something, they're about to do that exact thing. So I'm gonna talk my shit here. Like a lot of people on YouTube, dude, they just like regurgitate shit from documentaries, and they just like regurgitate behind the scenes shit that you could just watch on like the DVD bonus features, and it's like they don't add their own 2 cents, you know what I mean? And I used to do that early on, because like a lot of people that I watch, actually a lot of people that I like do that, but like I hate the idea of that. You know, it's like I like people like kind of relating it to their own life, or just like a raw, like, let me give my 2 cents, let me give my feelings, my just like initial gut reaction of the movie. Like the whole like behind the scenes, it's like, dog, if we're watching your video, we're already a movie nerd. Like we've already seen every behind the scenes. I mean, early on when I was like really like getting into like movie reviewers and stuff, like I watch a lot of people, and they did put me on. So like with all that info, but I mean like now, like it's like I've seen so many behind the scenes stuff. It's like a lot of this stuff we already know. It's like, I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted that was like a long-winded thing, but I just wanted to say that I don't rock with people just saying shit that you could watch. I mean that you could hear on like a bonus feature, but sometimes I do it, so maybe that's contradictory. But I had to talk my shit about that, and also I had to give credit because I have it instilled in me from all these teachers and professors. Like yo, you better cite your sources. So I had to cite my sources and I had to talk my shit. Did both those things, so now I got it out of my system. I'm ready to move on. So moving on, I'm talking about the comedy. Like I said, this movie, for the most part, the comedy's really good. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. Some of the comedy doesn't work, but there's so many memorable lines. Like the dialogue is great. I feel like a lot of the jokes are really well written, and also like there's a lot of funny situations, scenarios, a lot of good physical comedy, a lot of good slapstick. So it's a mixed bag in terms of quality, but also in like the format that is presented. So like this is the most memorable line in the movie. Everyone's probably talked this to death, but Dizzy, or at this point when he's at the other school, he's Gil. I'm just gonna call him, and I'll call him Gil right now. So Gil is he's wearing all like the military attire, and he's hyping up the football team, and he's like, "Did we give up when Pearl Harbor was bombed?" And then the one football player is like, "Dude, I thought that movie made money." That's the most memorable line in the movie. It's the best line ever. That line rules. And then I like Perry Shen's character. He has this line. He's like, I think the question is, how would Gil get jiggy with this Courtney chick and say, "Who's your daddy?" While respecting her as a woman. Like, that shit was great. Yeah, Perry Shen's character was the man. It was cool to see that, he got with Zooey Deschanel's character later on. Beautiful couple. But yeah, basically, I really like that line. There's this other line too. I got on my phone. It was like Eddie Griffin's character had this line. This is the last one I gotta go over. So, okay, his character is Luther. I could have just looked that up. So, he says high school is a lot like prison. Bad food, high fences, the sex you want, you ain't getting. The sex you getting, you don't want. I've seen terrible things. And then Dizzy goes, yesterday, an 80-year-old librarian broke my penis. And he's like, you win. So that was a really good line as well. So yeah, the dialogue was on point. And then, like I said, there's like a lot of good physical comedy. Like when Gil is... this is hard with the double name thing. So yeah, when Gil is like dragging around the bully and he wants to like show everyone that he beat up the bully, but like everyone keeps like just like disappearing. That's really funny. When he's like walking away from the fire and he looks back and then he like looks forward, he's like making this face like, oh my goodness. That was pretty good. There's Jerry O'Connell and his brother. Like, I mean, their characters. They're like sitting. They're sitting with like Tony Hawk in between them, and they keep like throwing popcorn on him, and then Tony Hawk just gets pissed, like throws popcorn. That was good. And then there's like when they're in prison, there's this guy escaping, and he's just like sprinting, and then off screen you hear him get like shot. That was great. But yeah, some of the physical comedy didn't work, like when Dizzy does. I'm like saying Dizzy or Gil depending on what point in the movie it was. Like I don't. It's not that serious, but I don't know. But yeah, at this point in the movie he was Dizzy. So he like tries to do the crazy eyes and he gets like food thrown in his face. That was kind of lame. Like some of the slapstick was just more basic and just it was like And then the one guy in like the bullies group of friends, like the black guy who he's always like, man, he's dissing you or whatever. That guy, he like randomly hits his head against the bleachers, like that was some pretty like basic slap, like it that kind of stuff. It's like, I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen someone hit their head on something. We've seen someone get food in their face. Like some of the slapstick or the physical comedy was kind of lame, but for the most part, it was pretty good. And then just in terms of the comedy, some of the stuff was like, it was like almost like corny. Like that's the only word I can think of. Like I don't know, for some reason that scene where he's like a kid and he's wearing the afro and he's like doing the dance moves, like I don't know, that scene is like corny. Like I always get like secondhand embarrassment. Like that's the thing. Like DJ Qualls was talking on that podcast of like they rewrote this movie a bunch, and he's talking about like a lot of these Hollywood guys, they're kind of jocks, and they still like, even if the main character is like supposed to be like a guy who's like overcoming bullying, like that he's still got to be the butt of the joke. So yeah, sometimes Dizzy's character was like still the butt of the joke, and it's just like I got like secondhand embarrassment, like when he's like you know he there's like Gene Simmons is preaching, and then Dizzy walks on stage and he grabs the mic and he's doing like the preacher voice, and he's like, you know what's the best contraceptive? Being me, or whatever. And he's like, you know what's the best way to abstain from sex? Being me. Like that whole thing was like kind of corny, kind of cringy. The thing where he was a kid, and then like when he's in the car with his dad early on, like there was something off about the acting. He's like, "Oh, Dad," like, "Oh, stop," like DJ Qualls was really good in this movie, and his acting was great, but like something about that little sequence that just seemed off to me. So yeah, some of the comedy, like that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was DJ Qualls' fault, because like there were so many rewrites, and sometimes when they're making him the butt of the joke, it's like some of those scenes are like really corny, and like it's just like I'll be like sitting in my house by myself and I'm like looking like I just feel like embarrassed watching. I don't know if people have like experienced that watching movies, but I don't know. I watched this completely sober too, so I'm like what the heck, like what is this dancing scene where he's a kid, like, and then he's doing that, like doing his voice all different at the end. Like I don't know, that stuff didn't work for me, but for the most part the comedy worked and it was really good. So last couple points here. Something that I really like about this movie is the look, the tone, the feel. This came out in 2002, and it's like it feels like a 2000s movie. The clothes, the hairstyles, the music. You got some nice like pop punk in there. You got some, you know, like rap, like older rap. Like it has that it really does have that like time capsule feel. Like it just feels like the 2000s. Not that I would know that well. I mean, I know a little bit about the 2000s, but like 2002, I was only 4 years old, so I don't really know about 2002 like that. But because I don't think you can remember anything from when you were 4. But like I was growing up in the 2000s and stuff, so I always like 2000 stuff. And this movie, like when I watch it, even though. Well, I mean, I did watch it when I was younger, but it's not like it was like a staple that I would like rewatch all the time growing up. But it's just like, I don't know, this movie that is nostalgic for me because like I caught it on TV when I was younger, and it has that 2000s vibe. So it's like I feel like this is like a very nostalgic movie for a lot of people, and it just totally has that beautiful 2000s look. So I really like that. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is, you know, this is a silly movie. It's a comedy, but I do feel like it has a good message. You know, the whole, I mean, like bullying is, you know, that's like a topic that's still relevant today, and you know, basically it's that whole like identity crisis. Like when you're in high school or maybe even like your early 20s, you're kind of like figuring yourself out, and you're like, you know, you kind of want to be liked. And sometimes you do stuff that's out of character. Like you're still, when you're that age, you're still kind of finding yourself. You're kind of, I know it sounds corny, but like you really are. And you're like seeing what you care about, like, you know, what you're interested in, how you like to dress, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like your formative years. You're still forming. You're not in your final form yet, you know? So, I feel like everyone can relate to that. Like when you're younger, you go through phases, or you might not, you know, be as confident as you are now. Like now, like me being in my like late 20s, like I feel like very much more comfortable in my own skin. Like, not that I wasn't, like I didn't like struggle with that excessively when I was younger, but I mean everyone struggles with that to some extent when they're younger, and like that's what I like about getting older. Like maybe I do look crustier every year. Maybe I get, you know, a little bit more crust every year. But I like as you get older, you're just like, man, I know what makes me tick. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. You know, I know how I like to dress. I know blah blah blah. Like I'm just, you know, I'm comfy. I'm chilling. You know, Like when back in the day, you're like, if I do this, is it gonna be perceived well? Is it gonna, what do people think of me on the street? Like I just walk around, like I wear all my weird, crazy outfits. Like I just like what I like. I like maybe like movies that people don't like. I just like what I like, and I'm like, you know, who cares? I'm like a 27-year-old man. Like, what do you, like, do I care about being cool? No, I care about, you know, having a good time, you know? So, yeah, basically I like the message of, like, you know, trying to be authentic, trying to find yourself, you know, and it's got, like, it's like he gets bullied and he kind of becomes this leader, and he's, like, helping the school come together. Like, he gets people going. Like, I don't know. So, it's a silly movie. It's, you know, a goofy comedy. I think it's funny, but I mean it is a goofy, silly comedy, but it does have a little bit of heart, and it does have a pretty good message that I think is you know, still relevant. So there you go. That's my last point. In terms of a recommendation, I would definitely recommend The New Guy. Yeah, you know, there's some comedy that doesn't hit, but overall I think this is a great comedy. I like the story. Great performances. Great actors and actresses. The cameos are on point. It's got a little, you know, nice little message. I don't know if I just said that, but yeah, it's a solid movie. So I definitely would recommend it. Oh yeah, and it's got the 2000s vibe for days. So yeah, if you haven't seen this movie or you want to rewatch it, well, if you want to rewatch it, I don't know how a recommendation would help because you might already like it. But maybe if you're on the fence about this movie, give it a rewatch. So yeah. I would definitely recommend this movie. That's been my recommendation. That's been my review. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.